Hi, good morning. Welcome to subramani.com. We make smart people richer, and therefore smart doctors also get richer by talking to us, attending our seminars, and reading my blog. So, thank you for coming here, and please share this video if you like it with your friends, and give me feedback about what more do you want me to cover. So, we saw that a doctor needs a financial advisor because life is a little complicated, and it is always useful to do your investments through an advisor. But no advisor will ever advise you to invest in your own business. So be careful as to what kind of advice your advisor is giving. That brings us to a very interesting question. Whom should you seek as an advisor? So let me start eliminating people who should not be an advisor. Your advisor should not be somebody who has been, just because he's your neighbor. He's your neighbor, he's your friend, that's fine, but please check up for competence. Don't choose just because he comes and tells you that he's an agent, or somebody who's already your patient, because there's a chance that that person has come to you as a patient, not so much as a patient, but as a person come to sell some product which may or may not suit you. That's not a right person. Somebody who throws a lot of authority, right? Somebody who's married to a commissioner of excise or income tax or things like that, largely subtly sending a message that, look, I could be very useful if you invest through me. Not true. Your bank relationship manager, he will keep changing jobs, he will keep changing his visiting cards, he will be governed by somebody else, so not suitable. So what do you look for in an agent? You look for an agent who has been an agent for, say, 10 years, 15 years, because then he's got some track record. You know he's going to be committed to be there. Today a new person is available called an investment advisor. Now this person may just charge you fees, exactly like what you do, and say you can implement it through somebody else. That is also not a bad concept. Just find out how much is he going to charge you. Is he going to charge you on the amount invested or on the time spent, right? So based on that you take a decision, because what may sound like just 1% may look very small, because right now your investments are, say, 5 lakhs of rupees. So 5,000 looks very reasonable. But when this becomes 5 crores, then 5 lakhs may not look very reasonable. That time you may want to rework the agreement. That's possible. So find out how he's going to charge you. Based on that, you take a decision. But please understand, your priorities only you know. So you have to tell your financial agent that you have to invest in your dispensary, you have to invest in your clinic, you have to invest in your equipment, you have to invest in your education, right? All those investments have to happen, investment in your health. All those things have to have priority, and then you will start investing your money into financial assets. He should also be able to give you insurance, which is medical insurance and term insurance, and some kind of an advice as to how much should you be putting in equity, how much should you be putting in debt. Please remember, doctor, as a practicing doctor, you are already taking a lot of risk in your practice. Your practice as the owner looks like you are because you're a business owner. It's a profession, but it's a business owner, so it's a high risk business, right? So a lot of your money, or a big portion of your money, should also be in debt instruments, right? But I'm still saying till the age of 40, 45, maybe you don't have too much surplus to invest. So a small portion going into your SIP, that's fine. Pay off, you may have to borrow money to buy your dispensary, to buy your clinic or place of work. Maybe you're setting up a small hospital, buying equipment, investing in people, so that will take some money. Based on all that, this agent of yours, or financial advisor, or a registered advisor as he's called, should be able to give you a complete comprehensive plan. Please make sure that you meet 2-3 such people, maybe 4 such people, out of references that you got from your friends. I'm sure if you lived in the same place where you're practicing, some classmate of yours whom was good friends in 7th standard or 10th standard, or somebody would have gone into this profession. Call him, ask him to select an agent. Say, you're a friend, so I don't want you as my agent. I don't want you as my relationship manager, or your friend could be a banker, your friend could be in the BFSI. Use his help. Typically, if you're a dentist and you need a gynecologist for yourself, how would you do? What would you do? You'll go back to your college and say, you know this person, we met, right? You'll look for in your professional areas, you'll find some gynecologist who will be able to give you advice. Similarly, when you want an advisor for financial services, do exactly the same thing. And remember, your parent or your neighbor or your mama or your kaka may not be the best persons to give you this advice, because their requirements may be different, and so this person will come and talk about National Savings Certificate and PPF. These are good in isolation, but it may not fit into your requirement when you're young. Right now, if you're going to borrow and if you're going to be investing, then you have to be very careful that you don't put into debt instruments getting 8% when you're borrowing money at 11%, right? So be careful, get a good agent, look for these criteria, and then once you've recruited an agent, make sure you sit with him or her for a long time. Then decide what are your priorities and then implement it. And remember one thing, you've taken a lot of trouble to select a person, now trust him, to him or her. After he has given you a suggestion, maybe you cross-check once or twice for the first 2, 3 transactions, 4 transactions. Once you're convinced and you think it's a great relationship, please make sure it continues for a long time. Just as a side thing, the first time I met my advisor was 1979, and he still continues to be my advisor. There is no change. What we are talking of, 40 years? That is important for being in the wealth creation zone. You have to have an advisor whom you trust. You will still have to verify for the first few transactions, but once that bond is established, exactly like how you want to establish with your patient. You expect your patient to just listen to you because you have put in the efforts, you have got the degree, you have got the qualification, you have got the experience, you have got maybe 10 years experience, and you want the patient of yours not to second judge you regularly saying, sir, I found this in Google and this. You don't want that to happen, right? Exactly like that. Take trouble to get your agent. Once you've got, stick to it. Thank you.